Our story kicks off with Hutch Mansell, a regular guy working at an engineering firm. He seems like your average suburban husband, living a quiet life with his wife Becca and their 2 kids, Sammy and Brady. One night, Hutch wakes up and goes to check on the kids. Suddenly, he hears strange noises downstairs. When he goes to investigate, he finds 2 burglars in his home. Grabbing a golf club, he dials 911. But the female thief catches him and points a gun at his head, demanding cash. Hutch freezes and calmly tells her all his money's on the table because he mostly uses cards. The male thief, frustrated he can't find anything valuable, starts yelling. The woman snatches Hutch's watch and wedding ring. Hutch notices a distinctive tattoo on her wrist. Just as they're about to leave, Brady jumps on one of them and yells at his dad to hit the other. Hutch raises the golf club but hesitates. Instead, he tells Brady to let them go. His son looks at him in shock. Becca rushes downstairs, begging the intruders to just take what they want and leave. They finally storm out, cursing their luck for breaking into this poor house. Hutch checks on his son, who's furious that his dad didn't fight back. A few minutes later, the cops arrive and take his statement, but one officer mocks Hutch for not protecting his family. That stings. Later that night, unable to sleep, Hutch crashes on the couch. His daughter Sammy comes to lie beside him, asking if he'll buy her a cat to protect her from burglars. The next morning, Hutch makes coffee and does some meaningless push-ups. At breakfast, Brady asks for help with a school project about a war hero. Hutch agrees, telling his son he served in the military but never really accomplished anything. Becca suggests Brady ask Uncle Charlie for help instead, since he's a real war hero. Hutch hides his irritation and stays quiet. Later that morning, Becca drives the kids to school while Hutch heads to work. Their neighbor Perry sees him off and smirks, saying he wishes the burglars had hit his house because he would have broken their bones. Hutch forces a smile and leaves, but inside he's boiling. At work, Hutch tries to focus on his job when Uncle Charlie, Becca's brother, shows up at his office. He's heard about the break-in from Brady and asks why Hutch didn't fight back. Hutch explains he was protecting his family from danger. Charlie pulls out a gun and insists Hutch keep it at home for protection. Hutch refuses, but Charlie pressures him until he takes it. Instead of putting it on his nightstand, Hutch hides the gun in the freezer, clearly conflicted. During his lunch break, Hutch meets with Eddie, his father-in-law, and the owner of the company. Eddie asks why Hutch wants to buy the plant from him. We find out Hutch has been trying to secure the business to provide for his family's future. Eddie brushes him off, saying the factory is worth too much because he built it brick by brick. Hutch swallows his pride and walks back to his office, pours himself a whiskey to calm down, and chats over the radio with an old friend, hinting there's more to his past than anyone knows. That evening, Hutch visits his dad David at the nursing home. They eat together and share a drink, but David notices something's off. Hutch brushes it off, not ready to talk. Back home, he tries to reconnect with Brady to make him forget the break-in. But then his daughter Sammy says she can't find her bracelet, the one that was with the money the burglars stole. That's the last straw. Furious, Hutch storms out, heads back to the nursing home, and quietly opens his father's closet. We learn David was a retired FBI agent. Hutch takes his father's old badge and pistol. As he's about to leave, David wakes up and asks where he's going. Hutch says there's something important he has to do. David just smiles and tells him, "If you can't do it, I'll do it for you." Next, we see Hutch going from one tattoo parlor to another, flashing the badge and asking about the tattoo he saw on the female burglar's wrist. Finally, at one shop, a grizzled old man notices the badge, freezes when he sees Hutch's own tattoo, and bolts into a locked room. Even a shop owner is confused. Eventually, Hutch gets the address of the thieves. He tracks them down and barges into their apartment, pistol drawn. In front of the man's wife, he beats him and demands Sammy's bracelet back. The guy swears he doesn't have it. Hutch cocks the gun, ready to kill him, but then hears a baby crying in the next room. Realizing there's a child involved, Hutch smashes the wall in rage and storms out instead of shooting. He heads home empty-handed. On the bus ride back, a group of drunk thugs get on and start harassing the passengers, especially a young woman. Hutch smiles to himself, steps off the bus as if to leave, then closes the door and stays inside. The gang stares at him. Hutch calmly pulls out his gun, empties the bullets onto the floor, and says, "I'm gonna mess you guys up." They laugh and charge at him. Big mistake. Hutch takes a brutal beating but methodically breaks their bones, stabs them with their own knives, and throws one out the window. After the fight, he notices one thug is choking, so he jabs a straw into his throat to let him breathe, then lines them all up unconscious on the bus floor. He apologizes to the driver for the mess and limps home. The next morning, Hutch's wife notices his face is swollen and cut up. Shocked, she starts treating his wounds. When she asks what happened, he just says he was a little upset and leaves it at that. For the first time in a long time, Becca feels a flicker of guilt for having been so distant. She's seeing another side of her husband. Across town, we're introduced to Yulian Kuznetsov, a flashy but deadly Russian mobster. He runs a nightclub and controls the Obshak, a kind of trust fund holding all the mafia's cash. In front of his crew, he beats a man to death just to prove he's in charge. Right then, he gets a call from the hospital. His younger brother is in intensive care after being nearly beaten to death on a bus the night before. At the hospital, Yulian sees his brother's condition and loses it. He storms into the room of one of the surviving thugs and smashes a chair over him, demanding to know who did it. The guy says it was just some old dude on the bus. Yulian beats him again, incredulous. Another survivor swears it's the truth and hands over something they found at the scene, Hutch's dropped Metro card. Meanwhile, Hutch is back to his routine, working out in the morning and making breakfast. Brady sees his father's bruises and asks what happened. Hutch shrugs it off, saying he fought with some punks. Just then the house phone rings. It's Hutch's friend Harry congratulating him for the bus fight but warning him. One of those punks was the brother of a very dangerous man named Yulian. Harry tells him to check with the barber if he doesn't believe it. Hutch hangs up, tells his family he's making lasagna for lunch, their favorite. It's been a long time since they sat down to a family meal, but as he cooks, he's deep in thought about Harry's warning. After lunch, he visits the barber, who's actually one of his old contacts. The barber hands over Yulian's file and explains who he is, the Russian mob's money man, completely unstable, obsessed with buying expensive art. If he even hears your name, the barber warns, he'll come for you. Sure enough, Yulian's secretary digs into Hutch's past. She finds that his father was an FBI agent but can't find anything on Hutch himself. All the files are blacked out except photos of horrific crime scenes. She sends the images to Yulian, freaked out, and quits on the spot. Yulian doesn't care. He orders his men to hit Hutch's house and bring him in alive. That evening, Hutch sets the table, ready to serve lasagna, when he sees multiple vehicles approaching his home. He instantly realizes Yulian's men are here. He hustles Becca and the kids into the basement, shuts off the lights, and prepares for war. The mobsters break in and search the house. Out of the darkness, Hutch ambushes them, killing several in brutal hand-to-hand combat. One of them shocks him with a taser, and he blacks out. They load Hutch into a car to deliver him to Yulian. But on the way, he regains consciousness, slips his cuffs, grabs a fire extinguisher, blinds them, crashes the car into a pole, and walks away. Bloodied but alive, he heads home, showers off the gore, and frees his family from the basement. Becca and the kids are stunned by the carnage. Without much explanation, Hutch loads them into the car and tells Becca to drive far away to a safe place. She's confused and scared but goes. She knows she has to protect the kids. Back alone in the house, Hutch faces the surviving mobsters, telling them he used to be someone very dangerous, but tried to live a quiet life. They're dead before he can even finish his story. He spots Sammy's bracelet on the floor, picks it up, and sets the house on fire to erase the evidence. Then he steals Perry's sports car, the same neighbor who mocked him, and drives off. After sending his family away, Hutch heads to his father's place. Yulian's men have already shown up to kill the old man, but David is no helpless retiree. Pretending to sleep, he waits until they're close and then blows them away with a hidden shotgun. This apple didn't fall far from the tree. Meanwhile, Hutch goes to Eddie, his father-in-law, to buy the factory outright, paying him in gold bars. Charlie protests, but Eddie agrees and signs it over. As soon as Hutch has the paperwork, he kicks them both out. The factory is now his personal fortress. The next morning, Hutch gets to work wiring the place with traps, bombs, and enough ammo to start a war. Harry calls, begging him to run. Hutch just says, "They came for me and my dad. This ends now." That night, Hutch walks straight into Yulian's Obshak warehouse, the vault holding all of the mob's cash and art. Without a word, he mows down the guards with custom rifles and grenades, floods the building with gasoline, and torches everything. Millions of dollars and priceless art go up in flames. Then he strolls into Yulian's nightclub while the mob boss is performing. Yulian freezes as Hutch sits at a table eating dinner like it's just another night out. Hutch tells him he burned the money, offers him a chance to walk away and start over somewhere far away. Yulian explodes with rage. Hutch just smiles and leaves, knowing Yulian will come after him. Sure enough, Yulian and his army chase Hutch to the factory. Hutch takes a bullet to the shoulder but reaches his kill zone, where David and Harry are waiting with sniper rifles. A massive firefight erupts. Hutch uses his traps and homemade explosives to slaughter the mobsters one by one. Harry drops 3 men with a single shot. David covers Hutch like it's the old days. Finally, it's just Hutch and Yulian. Out of ammo, Hutch grabs a bomb, pins it to bulletproof glass, and tells Harry and David to duck. He charges Yulian as the explosion rips through the floor, killing the mob boss instantly. After the smoke clears, Hutch thanks Harry and David, sends them off, and calls Becca to let her know he's okay. We learn Becca has always known Hutch had a dangerous past, but chose to stay with him anyway. Later, Hutch turns himself into the police with Yulian's stolen art under his arm and a stray cat in a tuna can. When they ask his name, he just says, "Nobody." Minutes later, their bosses call, ordering them to release him. A few months later, Hutch is showing Becca a new house. When the realtor's phone rings, it's for Hutch, trouble calling again. He asks if the house has a basement. Becca gives him a look. The calm life might never come, but they've both accepted it. In the post-credits scene, we see David and Harry driving off in a stolen car loaded with weapons, hinting that the Mansell family business isn't over yet. And that, my friend, is The Wild Ride of Nobody, 2021. An ordinary dad with an extraordinary past who wipes out the Russian mob to protect his family. If you like this recap, smash that like and share button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more epic movie breakdowns.